for an understanding, in Montgomery County, the row officers, okay, the people that we elect, they're only required to be in the office for 20 hours a week. Right? They're required to be there for at least 20 hours a week. One of the things that's very different this year than what we've ever had is the entire team and ticket of row officers that we have this year, between myself and my teammates. We are all going to work these jobs full time, and that is not happening right now. Under the current administration of officers, most of them put in the bare minimum of hours, if that, yet they're taking a full salary. They're taking their benefits. They're taking all the perks of the job, and they're going to work part-time. The gentleman who has this office owns a law firm in Center City. So his money is going into Center City where his law office is. He can't possibly, listen, you cannot be an effective officer for Montgomery County if you're hanging out in Philadelphia County. What he should have done when he got elected, what he should have done is he should have put his law license on ice. And he should have performed the duties of the Register of Wills for the 4-year term that the public elected him to. I'm a real estate agent. I have a realtor's license, right? I'm with the Montgomery County Association of Realtors, MCAR. I'm also as part of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. I have offered, and I publicly will put it out there, when I get elected, my license is going to go to Harrisburg. I will not perform as a realtor from the day I take office until the day I leave. I'll put my license in Harrisburg on hold. The only thing I will do is I'll continue to take my continuing education, because real estate changes very frequently. And continuing education at this point is only 14 hours every couple of years, and it doesn't affect my working schedule, but it would allow me to keep my license active for the time period that I'd have it on ice. So I will not do any other job when I get elected to this office in November. When I take office, I believe January 1st, 2nd, whenever that is, I will be working that job and only that job. I will be the Register of Wills, and everyone in Montgomery County is going to know who I am. They're going to know why I'm there, what I'm doing. I'll be holding different appointment events. I'll do town halls. I'll do question and answer. I'll have my schedule will be completely transparent. I'm going to do something that right now no officer does. I'm going to put my schedule online ahead of time. I'm going to tell people when I'm going to be in the office and when I'm not. And then I'm going to post my actual schedule at the end of every week. So on either Sunday night or Monday morning of every week, I'm going to tell you what days I'm going to be in the office and what times. At the end of that week, I'm going to put in the schedule I actually worked. I'm going to hold myself accountable to the people of Montgomery County. I'm going to hold myself accountable to the people that deserve to have that accountability. So I'm going to put it out there, and it will be there available anytime somebody wants to look it up. I'm not going to delete it at the end of a week. I'm not going to delete it at the end of a month. Those records will last. I mean, with the cloud, it's very easy anymore. Those records will last, and they'll be on either a Google Drive or, if I can get it done, the county website. One way or another, people are going to know when I'm supposed to be there and when I am there. This 20-hour week stuff is just no longer okay.
No, I can't believe that they're filling these positions for 20 hours a week at the rate that they're getting. Then on top of it, how do you run a law firm and support this at the same time? I mean, it seems like an awful lot. Somebody's going to be getting shortcut.
Sean, we've got people in offices. We've got other officers who have other jobs that whether they're attorneys or they're doctors, whatever the case is. Some of them may work in title work. There should be one job, okay? The county pays listen, $80,000 a year is a lot of money, and I'm quite certain that most of this county would love to have an $80,000 a year job. And if you asked most of them and said, if someone elected you to office and paid you $80,000, would you need a second job? I mean, how greedy do you need to be? How much money do you need to have? If you can't live on that, then you've got some issues. $80,000 is a lot of money. And then, you have your government benefits on top of that. This is not a free job anymore. It's not a complimentary position. So it's not like it used to be way, way, way back in the old days when public service offices didn't pay anything. So you needed to have another job. So it made sense. That's not how it is anymore. Our public officials, many people think they're paid too much money as it is. So they're being paid fairly, I believe. Now, if I was an attorney and I own my own law firm, would I think that $80,000 is enough money? I don't know. If I was making a couple $100,000, maybe I wouldn't. But then again, let me put out there, to be fair, I have no idea what this gentleman makes for a living. I'm generalizing. He very well could be it could be an honorary position in his law firm. He could be taking no salary whatsoever and living on his county money, and that's fine. If that's the case, I don't know what he makes, so I don't want to assume. What I am going to say is I know he's not working full time in the county, and I know that the voters elected a full time position for this position. If you get hired at any job anywhere in the United States, for sure, and I can tell you because I have worked overseas, if you get hired to work a job, they expect you to work it full time. I've never seen a work contract that called for a full-time salary with full-time benefits, but hey, just show up when you feel like it hours. I've never seen that anywhere, and I've been all around the world. I've talked to business people everywhere, public and private, big and small. No one has those rules. Montgomery County officers seem to think that they do, and they're wrong. And this year we're going to call them out on it because they haven't been called out before. This year we're going to put it to them. This year we're going to tell them that it's time that you're going to be accountable. And if you can't be accountable, then please leave the office because someone will be. I will be accountable. I'll put it out there. I will create the social media that he hasn't done. And I don't know why he hasn't done it. It seems like a very simple thing. Why can't people have information about the Register of Wills? Now, let me give you a quick example of the differences in the office. The Register of Wills has several different divisions, as we talked about: marriage licenses, wills, adoption, orphans court. That's 4 separate, distinct, unique responsibilities that they've got. Okay? Now, some of them may not be extremely time-consuming, but they are skilled positions nonetheless. So we're talking about a very important public service office, and the people in there should not be allowed to show up when they feel like showing up. They should be there when the office is supposed to be open and when it's supposed to be closed. The office should have extended hours so people can come down there in the evenings when, by the way, parking is free after 6 o'clock. Why can't we have hours past 6 o'clock when we don't have to pay for parking, when we don't have to park 3 blocks away in a parking lot? Why can't we have weekend hours? Why can't the Register of Wills go out and meet a family that's got a very difficult situation? Why can't that person go out and meet somebody? Schedule it if you have to, but go out and meet with them. Why can't that happen?
And you would do this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm traveling the county, and I have been for almost 2 months now. You know, we're coming into the primaries. Primaries are May 20th or 21st, I believe. I will be spending the next 7 months crisscrossing Montgomery County, knocking on doors, introducing myself to everybody. My goal is that this year, when it comes election time, when people look at those two names, they're going to look at the Register of Wills and they're going to look at 2 names and they're going to go, I know that guy. He was at my door. I have no idea who that other person is. And I believe it's probably going to be the same this year as it has been for his other 2 elections that he was in. And again, no one's going to know him. And he's banking on the fact that right now, politics is in a really weird place right now. People are very divided. Local offices are not about politics. Local offices are what's going to be best for the local community. This is not a political office. It's an elected office, and you've got to be affiliated with a party to get elected. That part's absolutely true. But I have no effect on what happens in the world. None. And in this office, I never will. I'm not concerned with what happens outside of Montgomery County. I can't be. Montgomery County is where I live. Montgomery County is where I serve. Montgomery County is who I'm beholden to.
And you've spent some time outside of the county, obviously, and you spent some time down in D.C.
Yes, I have.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So I had a unique experience that I got to live in Washington, D.C. for a short period of time. I was hired to take over a division of a company that was based in Virginia, and at the time I was involved with a family that was very politically connected, and so I was staying in Washington, D.C. on C Street, which is just blocks from the Capitol. It's right there, and I spent nightly. I spent time with congressmen, with senators. I broke bread with, went to cocktail events, dinner parties. I'd spent a great deal of time with what you'd call professional politicians. So I've seen the way it's really done. I've seen what politics really is. not the side they show you on TV. That's the bright side. That's the sunny side. That's the side that they want you to see. But I've seen the way it's really done. I've seen the way deals are really done. And look, politics is what it is. I don't think anybody's surprised to hear that politicians sometimes do or say things they shouldn't do. I think it's shocking if you think they don't. But I have had, I've had some interesting experiences in the Washington area. I saw a great many things that I won't repeat on the air, but I can tell you that they were eye-opening.
Yeah, John. I mean, you shared some of those stories with me, and I was shocked. Some of the stuff that you had shared with me was beyond my wildest dreams, and we aren't going to repeat them here. But beyond that, tell me a little bit more about you and what you're into.
So as I said, I'm a realtor, but I'm also a father. I've got 4 children, aging down. My oldest is my stepson. He's going to be 16 this year, and then my son is 15, and my daughter is going to be 13, and my newest, believe it or not, is 2, just turned 2. We had a little bit of a break there. We thought we were kind of on an extended vacation, and then vacation ended. So my little boy Caden is 2. I come from a very interesting background. You know, I was very fortunate in my overall career and in my life. I've had some amazing mentors. I've had people who have led me down and shown me some incredible, incredible things. And I've had some very unfortunate effects as well. I was in the specialty fitness market for a little while. I became a personal trainer at 18. Coincidentally, I got my real estate license at 18 the first time I applied. My license actually has a 1 in front of it. So anyone who's a realtor knows that our licenses as a real estate salesperson start with RS for real estate sales, and then a series of 6 numbers. Now, most people in Pennsylvania have a number of either 4 something 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 or 3 something something something. My license is RS 199. So I've got a very old real estate license. I got it at 18, and after I sold my first property and some land, I decided that real estate at 18 probably wasn't ideal. And I wanted to go into something different. I wanted to do something a little more exciting. I was 18 years old. I really wanted to do something fun. So a friend of mine at the time was a bouncer in Manayunk at a great club down there, and so he got me a job down in Manayunk at a place called the River Deck Cafe. So any of your listeners that are probably 35 or older will remember the River Deck Cafe as one of the best clubs in Philadelphia. It was a blast. It was the most fun I've ever had, and that job changed my entire life. Before that, I was fairly introverted. I'd done some acting, I'd done some modeling, I'd done some national commercials. But that job and the people at that job changed how I saw myself. They changed how I felt about myself. I had never been someplace where when I walked in, every night I walked in the River Deck Cafe, I would get a hug from 20 different people. And I'd never experienced that outside of family. As soon as I'd walk in, male or female, didn't matter. Every single one of them would come up, give you a big hug and say, "How you doing?" And oftentimes would say, "Love you, brother." You know, it was a different place. It was the first time I ever felt really included in anything in my entire life. And so that job, and I've told the story many times over, that job I credit with turning me into the person I became, because it brought my personality out. It brought me to being much more extroverted rather than introverted. You know, before that, I didn't like being in front of a crowd of people. I'd done commercials and acting work, and so I was able to do a monologue, but I didn't like doing it. I did it because I actually liked the work, but I didn't like the audition process. After working at the River Deck, I could stand in front of 500 people, make up a story and go along with it and have no problem, no nerves, no concern, no nothing. I don't get nervous in front of crowds anymore. I don't get nervous doing public discussions. It just doesn't affect me. And it was because of those people that were there. One of the people who was there, who's the one who got me the job, Jason, was like a second brother to me. You know, he's a brother from another. We looked a lot alike. People used to mistake us for brothers all the time. 2 years ago, I lost Jason. He had taken up and had an overdose, and I buried him. And in my life now, that's the second of I've had 3 very, very close friends in my entire life. Three that are more important to me than my own heart. 2 of them I've had to bury from this opioid crisis. The third one is still very healthy and alive and kicking, and still is a blast to talk to. But so I've had exposure to a lot of things, and so that job gave me exposure to a lot of things that I hadn't previously seen, and none of that had to do with that. That was just a side note. But in any event, I stayed bouncing for several years. And then I moved